What if I could tell you a story that would just shut down your brain, just shut it off? Temporarily, of course, and it's perfectly safe. You've probably heard of fight or flight, where when we're in danger, we get a sudden rush of adrenaline and it helps us either fight or run away, flight. The other thing that happens sometimes is we could freeze. Like a rabbit or a deer in the headlights. You've probably seen it if you've been in the car, if you've been unlucky, and it just doesn't know what to do. The reason is because the brain's just overloaded and it just has to stop and reprocess and almost reset. And that's what this story does. So when I first heard it a few years ago, I completely zoned out, and it's a really interesting thing because I wasn't expecting it. Maybe you'll be expecting it, so maybe you will, or maybe you won't. It works on about 60% of people. So have a listen, and I'd be really curious to know how you get on and whether you found it work for you or if it didn't work. Like I say, there's nothing to be worried about. We're just going to see if we can make your brain just switch off for a minute. But it'll always be doing all the important things like breathing and stuff like that. So make yourself nice and comfortable, make sure you won't be disturbed, and it's probably best if you just close your eyes because it'll really help you just to listen to and enjoy the story. Hope you enjoy it. I was wondering if maybe I should tell you the story of when I bought my red leather jacket. That might have been interesting. I recently went into a shop and somehow I just managed to buy for myself a bright red leather jacket. Not something I would normally wear, let alone buy. I liked it so much that I kept it on when I paid, and I left the shop, and as I was leaving I bumped into my friend Jack, who said, "Wow, you look great in that jacket. The colour's terrific, it really suits you." So I went off down the street in my new jacket, feeling great. Further down the street I met Jane and Alan. They did a double take and Jane said, "Gosh, that's bright, isn't it?" It's a bit bright for my taste. It's okay on you though," Alan said. Feeling slightly deflated, I continued walking towards my car. Near the car park I met my old colleague Tom, who stared at me and started to laugh. He said, "You've got to be kidding, Mark. Are you on your way to a fancy dress party? How much are they paying you? Hold on while I get my sunglasses." The question for you is, which one of these individuals should I have believed? Jack, who said I looked great, Alan and Jane, who thought it was too bright, or my very rude colleague Tom? I wonder what you would have thought. By the way, Asclepius wore a natural red woven jacket and a wide-brimmed hat as he was walking in the countryside outside Athens. It was noon, the sun was high in the sky, and Asclepius had been walking since dawn. As the sun beat down, he became aware that he was feeling decidedly hot and thirsty. Then nearby he heard a most welcome sound, the sound of trickling water. He followed the sound and he came across a source, a small stream. He sat down thankfully in the cool shade and gratefully rinsed his hands in the water. Just at this point, where it rose out of the ground, it felt refreshingly cold, almost icy. He cupped his hands together, filled them with the pure water and raised it to his lips. Nothing had ever tasted so wonderful. Just at that moment, a traveller came by. "Excuse me," said the man, "I'm going to Athens and I've never been there before. Have you any idea what it's like?" "Where have you come from?" asked Asclepius. "Piraeus," said the man. "What's that like?" asked Asclepius. "Oh, it's a dreadful place," said the man, "full of traffic and noise, dirt and unfriendly people. It's a terrible place." "Well, I expect you'll find Athens just the same," said Asclepius. "Oh dear," said the man, and he walked slowly on his way. Asclepius started to feel tired after all his walking, and he sat down, shaded by his large hat, and he looked very relaxed. Tony looked relaxed, and he was surprised when after a few moments he opened his eyes wide and said to me, "I'm sorry, this isn't working." I said, "Don't worry, just let your eyes close again." He did this, and I droned on a bit about relax and calm and deeper, which normally works, and then Tony opened his eyes again and he shook his head. I said to him, "Tony, I had someone visit me recently, Peter, who said that he'd never been in that really calm, relaxed state, and he didn't think he'd ever be able to do it and switch his mind off, and this is what I asked him to do." I said, "Peter, I'm just wondering, and I'm only wondering whether as you just sit there in that comfortable chair, you might be pleasantly surprised to find that your eyes want to close. Now, I don't know whether your eyes will close now or in just a few moments, but what I do know is that just as soon as they close now, you can really enjoy just taking yourself off to that more deeply relaxed state." That's right. After a few moments, I said to him, "Just imagine that you're holding in your hands a rare and beautiful casket that archaeologists have just brought out of an ancient tomb. Keep the casket closed and just look down on the lid. What can you see? Look at it very carefully. It really is very precious. Handle it gently. You can feel the surface of it with your fingers and move your fingers slowly over the lid. How does it feel? Might even like to lift it closer and smell it. Does it have a particular smell? And look at it from the front. How's it different from the lid? You can take a moment to look at it carefully and feel the front surface with your fingers. How does that feel? Look at it from the side. How's it different from the front? And now the other side. Are both sides the same, or are they different? Turn it around and look at it from behind too. Touch it. What do you notice? Now, being very careful, hold the casket up so you can see and feel underneath it. What's it like? Bring it down again, and soon you're going to open it, but before you do, I'd like you to think about what you'll see inside. Just imagine it very clearly. When you're ready, still holding that special casket and hearing the sound it makes as you do, just slowly open the lid and see whatever you see. And notice that you should do that, just it'll change. You look at it from different angles. And a while later, Tony opened his eyes with a big smile on his face, and he said, "That feels fantastic. I feel so deeply relaxed. But you never finished telling me about your other client, Peter." "Didn't I?" said. Asclepius realised that he was feeling quite hungry after all his walking. Out of his pack, he took the food that he'd brought with him. First, there was a hunk of bread, freshly baked that morning. He took a deep breath and enjoyed the smell of it for a moment, and then white, sharp feta cheese made from his own goat's milk, and some big black olives, and to follow a large, sweet orange. His mouth was watering with anticipation when he was interrupted by another traveller. "Excuse me," said the second man, "I'm going to Athens. I've never been there before. Have you any idea what it's like?" "Where have you come from?" asked Asclepius. "Piraeus," said the second man. "Well, what's that like?" asked Asclepius. "Oh, it's a wonderful place," said the man, "full of life and fun and colour and friendly faces. It's a fantastic place." "Well, I expect you'll find Athens just the same," said Asclepius. "Oh, good," said the man, and he walked eagerly on his way. Asclepius smiled and he bit into his bread. It was delicious. So the question is, which of my friends should I have believed about my red leather jacket? I think in truth none of them, because like the two travellers in the story, we all have our own maps, our own filters, and the jacket was always the same. I was always the same, and my friends gave me feedback based on their maps and their filters. And the truth is, no matter what you do and how you are, some people will like you and the things you like and the things you do. Some people won't like you, and it's likely that most people just won't mind one way or the other. Quite often, life can be a bit like my red leather jacket. Thanks for listening, and you can open your eyes, and if you enjoyed it, I'd like to know, and if you didn't, I'd like to know about that as well. I'm quite happy. You might find that listening to it more than once might make sense, or it might not, but I hope you get something from listening anyway.